today's episode of Follow the Money, we explore the crucial role free trade agreements play in expanding economic opportunities for the Philippines amid a shifting global trade landscape. Now, with negotiations finalized for the Philippine-South Korea FTA and the Philippines beginning discussions with Chile, we examine how these developments can redefine trade dynamics and foster growth. Joining us is Philippine Ambassador to South Korea, De Vega. Ma'am, a pivotal figure in shaping the nation's trade strategies as well. Ambassador, an honor to have you join us. Welcome to Follow the Money.
Thank you very much, Rain, and it's an honor to be with you, and a pleasant day to all your viewers.
Grateful for you making time for us. The Philippine Senate ratified the FTA earlier last September 23. Now, South Korea, the parliament, approved it just last month. The DTI says potentially it could be completed by the end of the year. When do you expect the FTA with South Korea to be completed?
Well, in coordination with our colleagues at DTI, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and also our embassy here in Seoul, we're working hopefully towards an effectivity date before the close of this year.
So are we expecting, that's in a few days from now?
Yes, in a few weeks from now.
Right. Well, can you kindly briefly share with us the key objectives of that free trade agreement and its potential benefits for industries such as manufacturing and agriculture in the Philippines?
Well, this is part of the government's overall strategy in terms of developing various sectors in our economy. The goal really is to transform the Philippines to be Southeast Asia's hub for innovative, smart, and sustainable manufacturing and services by empowering the private sector through various market-based platforms and tools. And of course, in pursuing this vision, it's essential for our country to really work with like-minded partners who follow or who adhere to a similar vision. And Korea is, of course, one of our top partners in terms of trade, in terms of investments, and in terms of official development cooperation. So this fits in squarely within the vision of the Philippines. And in particular, the free trade agreement, which will hopefully take effect before the close of this year, actually targets very key sectors for the Philippines' development and also to build synergy with Korea. Of course, these include the agriculture sector, the industrial and manufacturing sector, on innovation and R&D, and emerging areas of economic engagement, such as the health sector, pharmaceuticals, vaccine development, bioengineering developments, green technology, green transport, energy, the creative industries, and similar emerging sectors, which will be very important for the future direction of our own industrial and manufacturing policies.
We're actually looking at some of those details, and one of them is a reduction in import tariffs levied on Philippine bananas to South Korea, reduced annually from 30%. That's pretty substantial until it becomes zero rated on the 5th year. Now, considering that South Korea accounts for about 4% of Philippine imports and ranks about 8th among export destinations, how will tariff reductions under the FTA impact the trade balance and domestic industries?
Well, we're hoping that the elimination of tariffs over a certain period as provided under the FTA will help to balance the trade deficit with the Republic of Korea, and for our agricultural sector, particularly for producers of tropical fruits and vegetables. This is really a very important development for them. For the longest time, the Philippines actually has been #1 in terms of the fresh banana export market in Korea. But we've seen that market share erode through the years as, of course, Korea entered into various economic partnership agreements or FTAs with other countries who also produce the same products. So this will enable us to be more competitive and hopefully to regain the previous market share that we have in Korea. So we think that's very important, and also in other sectors, which would be part of the Philippines' gains under the FTA.
It seems like not just the Philippines, but a lot of other countries are initiating FTA talks with other nations, especially before President-elect Trump is inaugurated. Do you see this trend going on with the rest of the other countries?
Well, I can only speak from the perspective of where I am here in Korea. And Korea in particular has always been really a free market. They adhere to, a very rules-based open international trading order. And it's an export leading country. So naturally, you would see a lot of these movements, not just during this particular period in time, but also consistently. And I think it's very important to realize also that globally, there is the sense that economic partnership agreements, free trade agreements, regional trade agreements do contribute to boosting overall trade engagement. For example, for the Philippines and Korea, we're part of the ASEAN-Korea Free Trade Agreement. And of course, like Korea, we're also under the RCEP. And we've seen that since we've become a part of these trading agreements, that the overall volume of bilateral trade has gone up. And we believe, therefore, that having the bilateral free trade agreement will further bolster this economic engagement.
In light of that, are there strategies that the Philippines is employing to ensure that smaller businesses can also benefit from these agreements, especially amid concerns about competition from imported goods?
Yes. Well, the thing about the Philippines-Korea bilateral free trade agreement is that it also includes a very important section on eco-tech cooperation or economic and technical cooperation, which hopes to bolster not just the flow of goods and products, but also to build sectors and industries. So this particular section calls for increased cooperation and engagement on industrial development, including in the health and life sciences, on innovation and R&D, on the MSME sector, which is very important, on the creative and cultural industries, on intellectual property, on standards, technical regulations of conformity, on e-commerce, and other areas which may be agreed upon by the two countries. So this particular section of the free trade agreement really looks at bolstering and supporting and assisting some key sectors, some key industries which would benefit greatly from this, like the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector would benefit greatly from cooperation on innovation and R&D, and also on training and capacity building on standards and conformity to requirements. So there is that section of the FTA, which we hope will have a beneficial impact on the sectors which need it the most.
Those are wide-ranging categories to be affected by the FTAs, with the World Bank highlighting that FTAs does contribute significantly to GDP growth. Is there a way that the Philippines can leverage these agreements to achieve long-term economic resilience?
I think the key is, and this is what our colleagues at the Department of Trade and Industry and the Board of Investments have been pushing for, is that we've identified already priority sectors where we feel the Philippines can really develop into a hub for innovative and sustainable manufacturing, and that includes green transport in the EV industry and related industries to that, on smart high-tech manufacturing, semiconductors and electronics, of course, green metals and critical metals and raw materials, high-tech or smart agriculture, in the renewable and clean energy sector, and in setting up the data centers that we need to support this kind of industrialization forward movement. And I think since we are pushing for similar agreements with other key partners, I think we're on track to build this ecosystem to support industry development in various sectors here, and also to keep in step with emerging sectors where innovation, research, and technology will be felt the most, like in sustainable or green technology, in the health sciences, and life sciences and health sector, and in transportation. These are all new areas, and of course the creative industry or the knowledge industries, where I think the vision for the Philippines being a hub will have a great impact.
Ambassador, this FTA between the Philippines and South Korea is pushing through despite the political uncertainties going on over there. Looking ahead, are there other nations or regions that the Philippines looks to collaborate with through FTAs? And what excites you the most about these opportunities for our economy?
Well, not to preempt, of course, our economic managers, but we do see a trend towards entering into or initiating discussions on various EPA agreements. Of course, with the EU, we've restarted these discussions in the Gulf area, in the Gulf region, with the United Arab Emirates, for example, and with Latin America. It's very exciting to see the various trade platforms, international and global trading platforms, where the Philippines is active, actually working towards very more specific and more focused mechanisms for economic engagement. For example, we're part of APEC, and it's very important for us to really foster and move on a more focused economic engagement with the other member economies. And it's exciting to see the Philippines explore economic engagement beyond our usual remit, our usual areas and our key partners, but to expand that to other potential partners, and in areas where we need to really expand in terms of economic engagement.
Ambassador De Vega, bringing it down to real life experience, in your years of service, what has been the most rewarding moment in seeing trade agreements transform the lives of Filipino businesses or communities?
Well, we've seen the bigger picture, the official ceremonies for the signing of agreements of this nature. But what I find very fulfilling and very impactful is to see and meeting actual businesses who've benefited from these free trade agreements, and which we hope to do under the Philippines-Korea Free Trade Agreement. That's why there is an effort for more outreach through the Department of Trade and Industry and other agencies in the Philippines. Under the Philippines-Korea Free Trade Agreement, we are launching two very important platforms for FTA promotion, a single window, single hub, all about the free trade agreement, and also an origin management system, which will help to facilitate and cut down the processing of product evaluation reports and issuance of certificates of origin. And when we get feedback, we've already had initial feedback from the private sector that they find this very innovative and very helpful. And I think that's one major takeaway, and something that we find very fulfilling, because we know in some measure we're making things easier. This is really in the spirit of the ease of doing business and encouraging greater economic engagement.
Well, the huge fan base of South Korea here in the Philippines, not just in terms of entertainment, but also in business. I'm sure these efforts will be successful in the coming years. Thank you so much for joining us today, Philippine Ambassador to South Korea, Theresa Dizon-De Vega, for shedding light on these critical trade developments. Your insights are invaluable as we navigate the complexities of global markets. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Now, as Ambassador De Vega highlighted, free trade agreements are not just about economic numbers, but empowering businesses and uplifting lives through greater opportunities.